So be it, Jedi.
What's going on, guys? Back in another video, another episode of Read or Skip It. Today we're on book 2 of the Wraith Squadron series, Iron Fist. Picking up where we left off in the first novel, Admiral Tridget is killed, but there is a little Easter egg they sprinkle in at the end. Intelligence officer Gara Petithil is the one that let the New Republic know that Tridget was escaping, and she presumed to be dead. She's actually an Imperial spy, and she's the one responsible for leaking information and having Mendanos's former squadron, Talon Squadron, destroyed. She makes her way back to the New Republic, assumes a new identity, and her whole job is that she's going to infiltrate, gather information on the New Republic, and go back to Warlord Zinj, creating problems for Rogue Squadron, etc. In the story, Wraith Squadron pretty much wants to figure out what Zinj is really doing, what his motives are. They determine that they're going to pretend to be pirates to earn his trust and then use that information to sabotage his plans. So they create a group called the Hawkbats, and they go around hitting Warlord Zinj's interests, his planets where he has companies that bring in income, bring in material, etc., disguised as the Hawkbats, and then Rogue Squadron comes in afterwards and acts as though they're following them. Well, he ends up contacting the Hawkbats and gives them an offer to work with him. So they go in disguise. So they agree to help him protect his fleet while he's going to one of the shipyards, and he's going to steal another Superstar Destroyer. So in this story, we have obviously more characters replacing old ones that died in the last novel. One of them, his name is Castan Dawn. He is sort of the new Slicer because Grinder, the Bothan Slicer in the last novel, is obviously dead. He sort of comes up with this plan that he's going to sneak aboard the Iron Fist, Warlord Zinj's capital ship. He's going to insert this program that's going to let Wraith Squadron know pretty much his whereabouts. Well, he tells Wedge this plan. Wedge tells him, no, not this time, not our first meeting with Zinj as the Hawkbats. Well, Castan Dawn doesn't listen. He sneaks aboard the shuttle, and he ends up getting caught. He ends up getting caught and killed. And when the Hawkbats are talking to Zinj, he brings out this guy, and he's like, okay, well, prove your loyalty to me and shoot this guy. Well, one of the members of the Hawkbats / Wraith Squadron goes up and just shoots this dude. And at the time, you're shocked. You're like, what the heck? Well, then afterwards, you find out that she says he was already dead, and they had done something to make it seem as he was alive, and she's super messed up about it. I gotta say, it was a really good moment in the book. In this novel, I guess prior to this, Ton Fanon, the doctor with all the cybernetics that's allergic to Bacta, and Face Lauren, who have this camaraderie and this sort of comic relief throughout the first novel and much of this one. Ton Fanon crashes down on this planet during a mission. Face goes after him, and Fanon is super messed up. I mean, he actually ends up dying. And it's sad because, these two are really close. Well, Face Lauren has a scar across his face, and he refuses to get it fixed, even though he can, because he sort of uses it to atone for him creating propaganda for the Empire as a child. And Fanon says, I'm leaving you a bunch of money. If you don't get your scar fixed, I'm going to give it to somebody you hate. It was just a touching moment, and you sort of feel for these characters. So Gara Petithil ends up being accepted into Wraith Squadron. This whole time, her whole plan is, well, okay, well, I'm going to take this information and I'm going to tell Zinj about it, and, they'll be captured. She'll achieve her, potential goal. Well, after a while, she comes to realize that these people actually care about her, and it's sort of different than in the first Rogue Squadron novels where there's a traitor, and she's, a traitor the whole time. Well, in this one, this person who is sort of a double agent ends up turning her loyalties from Zinj and the Empire to Wraith Squadron. I mean, she ends up being a good person. This whole time, she has this inner dilemma of trying to put her real identity behind her. She sort of tries to just envelop herself in this Lara Notzel personality. We see a lot of that throughout this story. At the conclusion of this story, they end up turning on Zinj. Rogue Squadron comes in and they're able to destroy, I think it's called Razor's Kiss, the second Superstar Destroyer that Zinj was stealing. But at the same time, Zinj doesn't know that it was the Hawkbats that blew his cover. So that little identity they have created for themselves remains a secret. It's a good story. I really enjoyed these novels. As I said, I've read the third one already, and we'll get to that probably next week. But man, I'm just so surprised at how good these stories are, just with the subject matter they contain. I mean, there's really no Luke Skywalker, no Force, no Jedi, no mysticism. It's just X-Wing pilots doing, commando shit, going in there and, being awesome. And, to this day, these are some of the best stories I've read. 10 out of 10 recommend. Book 2 of the Wraith Squadron series, Iron Fist, is a great novel. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, see you in the next one.